Hi guys, welcome to my next Christmas tutorial. Today I would like to show you how to crochet the placemat and the coaster. For this tutorial I used the 3 colors of medium worsted yarn in red, cream and green. Also you will need 6mm beads, it's up to you, maybe 6 or maybe 9 if you would like to add into the coaster as well, and the crochet hook for millimeters. Also you will need a yarn needle and the glue gun if you would like to add the beads by using the glue gun. Our work, we need to start by making chain of 64. So I've done it already, and now into the second chain from the hook. So here we've got first one, now we've got the second. We will work single crochet, and then in each chain to the end of first row we have to work 1 single crochet. So at the end of this row we should have 63 single crochets at the end. I've got my 63 single crochets, so now we will start row number 2, chain of 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we have to turn the work. We need to yarn over, put our crochet hook into the first single crochet, then we need to take the yarn. Now we need to yarn over, pull the yarn for only first loop, then yarn over, put the yarn for the next 2 loops. Then we have to yarn over, skip the first single crochet, and then into the next we have to grab the yarn, yarn over, pull the loop for the first loop, then yarn over, pull the yarn for the next 2 loops. Now we've got 3 loops on the hook, so we have to yarn over and pull for all 3 loops, chain 1. So we've done first cluster. And then we have to yarn over. We need to put crochet hook into the same stitch as we've done the last stitch. We've got 3 loops. Now we have to yarn over, work only on the first loop, then yarn over, we are working into the next 2 loops, so we've got 2 loops on the hook, then yarn over, we need to skip the first stitch, into the second we are going, we have to yarn over, then we are working only into the first, yarn over, we are working for the next 2, and again we've got 3 loops on the hook. So now we have to finish the stitch, chain 1 for lock. So we've done second cluster, and we need to repeat our pattern. So we need to yarn over, put crochet hook into the same stitch, then yarn over, we have to work only into the first loop, yarn over, work into the next 2 loops, we've got 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, skip the next stitch, into the second we have to work only into the first loop, then again yarn over into the next 2 loops, and again we've got 3 loops on the hook, so we have to work for all 3 loops, and then chain 1 for lock the stitch. And now I will show you one more time. So yarn over, put your crochet hook into the same stitch, now yarn over, work only into the first loop, yarn over, work into the 2 loops, then yarn over, skip the first stitch, we are going into the second, we have to grab the yarn, then yarn over into the first loop, yarn over into the first two, and again we've got 3 loops on the hook, so we have to finish the stitch, chain 1 for lock. So now we have to repeat this pattern to the end of our row. So again, yarn over, put your crochet hook into the same stitch, work into first loop, then yarn over into the next two, skip the next stitch, yarn over, go into the second stitch, yarn over, work into the first loop, yarn over into the first 2 loops. We've got 3 loops. Now we can finish the stitch, chain 1 for lock. At the end of our row we should have done the last one cluster, finishing at the last one stitch. Now we have to make double crochet into the same stitch as we finished, so we've got exactly the same as on the beginning of our round. We've done chain of 3. Chain of 3 was counted as the first double crochet, and then we start cluster on the same stitch, so we have to finish by making double crochet as well. Now row number 3, chain 1, we have to turn our work. We need to work single crochet into the double crochet, single crochet into the next stitch, so basically into the top of the cluster. Now we've got space between 2 clusters, so we have to make single crochet into that space as well, then single crochet again into the stitch, so into the top of the cluster. Again we've got space, so we have to work single crochet into that space and then into the top of the cluster, single crochet. So now we have to repeat this pattern to the end of our row. So 1 single crochet into the space, 1 single crochet into the stitch, 1 single crochet into the space, 1 single crochet into the stitch. At the end of our row, when we've done the last single crochet into the last top of the cluster, we have to work the last single crochet into the turning chain, so that can be a little bit hard. So I've done it. Now we have to start repeat our pattern, so we need to start making exactly the same as we've done in second row. Chain of 3 as the first, double crochet, then we have to yarn over, put our crochet hook into the same stitch, so into the first single crochet, then yarn over, we are working only on the first loop, then yarn over, we are working onto the next 2 loops. We've got 2 loops left. We have to skip the next stitch, into the second yarn over, and again we have to work only into the first loop, then into the next 2 loops. We've got 3 loops. We have to finish the stitch, chain 1, and again yarn over, put crochet hook into the same stitch, yarn over, work only into the first loop, then yarn over, work for the next 2 loops, yarn over, skip the first stitch into the second, we have to work into the first, yarn over, work into the first, yarn over, work into the first 2, and then when we've got 3 loops we have to yarn over, finish the stitch, chain 1 for lock. So keep repeating this pattern to the end of this round, and then we have to repeat round number 3. So from this round we have to, from this row we need to work 12 rows, so in total we should have 15. We start by making 1 single crochet in each chain, then we've got row number 2 and row number 3. Now we have to repeat row number 2 and then row number 3 until we will have 15 rows. So the last row should be 1 single crochet in each stitch and into each space. So we have to make exactly the same at the end. When we will have the last one cluster, we have to finish by making double crochet. I don't know why I told you that we should have 15 rows if we had to repeat our 2 rows 12 more times. So basically we should have 27 rows in total. So we repeat 12 more times row 2 and 3, and now we will start working on the border. So first row on the border we have to start by making chain 1, and into the first single crochet we will work single crochet, chain of 2 and 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. So this stitch will be our corner. Basically we will work into the chain 2 later on. Now in each single crochet, so into the next 61 single crochets, we will work 1 single crochet in each stitch. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So we have to repeat until the last stitch. The last stitch we will work exactly the same as here. Now into the last single crochet we will work single crochet, so I've done it already, chain 2 and 1 more single crochet into the same stitch. So this is our next corner. Now we need to start working on the shorter side, so we have to work 41 single crochets in this side. So as we've done the corner, we are going to the stitch where we've done double crochets, and we need to work 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Then into the row where we've done single crochet and only 1 single crochet, and again double crochet, 2 single crochets into the double crochet and 1 single crochet into the stitch with single crochet. Next double crochet we have to work 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and into the row with single crochets, 1 single crochet. So we have to repeat it to the end of our row, so to the last single crochet. Okay, so I am now into the row with single crochets. So now the last stitch I will do exactly into the chain stitch, so single crochet, chain of 2 and 1 more single crochet. So as I said, on this side you should have 41 single crochets, but we are counting first stitch of actually second, because we've done single crochet, chain of 2 and single crochet, so this stitch we are counting, and the first one with the next corner we are counting 2. After that we have to start repeating what we've done from the beginning on the long side, so 1 single crochet into the next 61 stitches and into the last chain. So it's quite easy to see because we've got little tail, we have to work corner again. So 2 single crochets, chain 1 single crochet, chain 2 and 1 single crochet, and then again short side, so in each row with double crochet 2 single crochets, and in a row with single crochets only 1 single crochet until the last stitch and until the first single crochet. So basically we have to repeat what we've done from the beginning of our round. Just remember, we need to have 61 single crochets. As I said, at the end of our round we need to work slip stitch into the first single crochet, and now we are making actually we have to leave a big loop because we need to change the color, but I am not cutting the yarn because next row will be in red again, so I will grab this stitch. So now we have to join by using second color. So chain of 2, we are starting as a chain of 2, and now we will start our first stitch. So we have to yarn over, put crochet hook into the chain 2 space, then we need to grab a yarn, then we will work only through the first loop, and then we need to yarn over, put crochet hook into the chain 2 space, grab the yarn, and work only for the first loop. So now we should have 5 loops on the hook. We can finish the stitch, pull yarn for all 5 loops, then chain 1. So now we need to repeat this pattern. We repeat this pattern only 2 times because we start by making a chain. Now we have to repeat this pattern 3 times. So we have to yarn over, put the crochet hook again into the chain 2 space, then we need to work through the first loop. Yarn over, put crochet hook into the chain 2 space, grab the yarn, work only through first loop, and one more time, yarn over, put crochet hook into the chain 2 space, work only through first loop. So now we should have 7 loops on the hook, and we can finish the stitch, chain 1 for lock. So into our corner we've done 2 stitches. Now we need to skip the next single crochet and into the next one, so we need to skip the first one, into the second we will work the same stitch. So we have to repeat 3 times working into the first loop. 1, 2, and one more time, 3. So we should have 2, 4, 6, 7 loops again. Now we can finish the stitch. Chain 1 for lock, and again skip the next stitch, and into the second we need to work the same. So we have to work it 3 times into the first loop. 1, 2, and 3. 7 loops on the hook again. We can finish the stitch. Chain 1 for lock. Skip the next stitch, into the second the same. So we need to repeat this pattern to the next corner. Onto the next corner, into the chain 2 space again, we have to work 1 puff stitch, then chain 1 and another puff stitch, because these stitches are called puff stitch. Chain 1 for lock. So we've done at the moment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to skip the next single crochet, into the next stitch another puff stitch, and into each corner we will work 2 puff stitches. So the same after the next corner after the next chain of 2 we need to skip the first stitch, and then into the second we will start working like here. So basically we have to repeat this pattern all the way around. I am at the end of my row, so I finished exactly 1 stitch before my 2 single crochets into the corner. So we have to skip that stitch and we are going into the chain 2 space, and we need to repeat our pattern. So 3 times we are working into the first loop. 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 and 1 more puff stitch into the same chain 2. 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1, and again we need to skip the next stitch. Into the second we will work another puff stitch, and again to the end of our row. At the end, into the next chain 2 space we will work another 2 puff stitches in 1 stitch. Now I've done my whole round, so now I am made a slip stitch into the first chain of 3 as we start our round, and now we can fasten off and cut this yarn because we will not use it anymore this color. Now into the chain 1 between 2 groups of the puff stitches we have to go back with our red color. So I've got it already. And now chain 1, and we will work single crochet, then chain of 2 and 1 more single crochet. So we've done single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet into the corner, then chain of 2, 1 single crochet into the chain space, chain of 2, 1 single crochet into the chain space, chain of 2, 1 single crochet into the chain space. So basically we have to repeat this pattern to the end of our row, actually to the next corner. Into the next corner we need to work single crochet, chain 2 and another single crochet, then again chain of 2 and single crochet in each chain stitch, chain space. So all the way around we need to repeat the same, apart from the corner stitches. After when we've done slip stitch into the first single crochet, we need to work slip stitch into the corner, so into the chain space. Now we will work single crochet, chain of 3, single crochet into the same chain 2 space, then chain of 3 and 1 more single crochet into the same chain space. So we've done we are at the corner, and we've done 3 single crochets and 2 chain 3 spaces. Now we are going straight to the next chain 2 space, and we will make single crochet, chain of 3 and 1 more single crochet. Into the next corner, into the next chain space, the same, single crochet, chain 3 and single crochet. So basically in each chain space we have to repeat the same, so it's 2 single crochets and 1 chain free space. So again we need to repeat this pattern all the way around, and at each corner we have to work 3 single crochets and 2 chain free spaces. I've done my last row, so at the end we need to make a slip stitch just into the first single crochet, then fasten off, cut the yarn. So our placemat is almost done, because we need to now start working on the leaves. We need to make 6 of them, 4 for a placemat and 2 for a coaster. I've done few already, so there looks like that, and now I will show you how to make it. So now we need to start by making slip knot, then chain of 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 into the second chain from the hook. So here we've got first one, so into the second we will work first single crochet, and then into the third we will work single crochet as well. Now into the next stitch we have to work half double crochet, then chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch just into the first chain to make a picot. So we've done a picot and one more half double crochet into the same stitch, into the same chain. Now into the next chain single crochet, and into the next again half double crochet, chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the first chain and half double crochet into the same stitch as we've done first half double crochet. So we've got 2 half double crochets and 1 picot in one chain. Then into the next stitch single crochet, and now we should have the last chain. So into that last chain we will work single crochet, chain of 3, slip stitch into the third chain and one more single crochet. Now we will work on the opposite side, so we have to skip the stitch where we've done the 2 single crochets and picot, and we are going into the next. So as you can see, this is the first stitch, so we are going to the second one and we will work single crochet. Now we should have the stitch where we've done 2 half double crochets and picot, and into that stitch we need to work the same. So half double crochet, chain of 3, slip stitch into the first chain and one more half double crochet into the same stitch. Into the next chain, into the next stitch, we will work single crochet, and then again we should have stitch where we've done 2 half double crochets and picot, and we need to make the same. So half double crochet, chain of 3, slip stitch into the first chain, half double crochet, and now into the next stitch we will work single crochet, then into the next stitch 1 single crochet and slip stitch into the first single crochet. Now we can fasten off and cut the yarn. I am leaving the long tail to sew on the placemat or coaster. Now we need to sew on the leaves onto the placemat. So 2 leaves we will sew onto the one corner and another 2 on the opposite side into the next corner, like that. So now we will start with the first one. Just into the center of the leaf, so we don't need working on the sides at all. And now at the end we need to add a little knot to make sure that everything will stay in one position and safe. So 1 and 1 more. So now we can cut the rest of the yarn, and we got first leaf done. So working in this way, we need to add another 3 leaves. After when we've done our 4 leaves, is only one thing to do. We need to add the beads. So I will be using glue gun for making it, and we will start. If you haven't got any glue gun, you can sew the beads into your placemat. Don't worry about the little strands. When everything will be dry, we can take them out. Okay, so first 3 I've done, and another 3. One, 2, and 3. Okay, so now we need to wait until the glue will be dry, and then we can take the strands out. And now we will start working on the coaster. So we need to make slip stitch, then chain of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch into the first chain, and then chain of 3, 1, 2, 3. This chain of 3 is count as a first double crochet, and now into the ring we will work 16 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. So we've got 17 stitches, and now into the top of chain 3 we will work slip stitch. Now we need to start round number 2, chain of 3 as a first double crochet, 1, 2, 3. Into the same stitch as we've done slip stitch we need to work one more double crochet, and now all the way around in each stitch we will work 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Into the next stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Into the next stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and the same in each stitch all the way around. So at the end of our round we should have 34 double crochets. At the end of our round we need to make slip stitch into the top of chain 3, and now round number 3, chain of 3, and now we will work round with a clusters. So we need to yarn over, we need to put crochet hook into the same stitch as we've done chain of 3. Now we are working only for the first loop, then we are working on to the next 2 loops. Now we've got 2 loops, we need to skip the next stitch, we are going into the second and we will work the same. So we need to yarn over, then work only for the first loop, then work for the next 2 loops. Now you should have 3 loops on the hook, so now we can finish the stitch, chain 1. We are going back into the same stitch, so we have to yarn over, put crochet hook into the stitch. Now we will work only into the first, then into the next 2. Then we have to skip the next stitch, into the second we have to work the same. So yarn over, put crochet hook into the first loop, then into the next 2. We've got 3 loops on the hook and we can finish the stitch, chain 1. And one more time, yarn over, put crochet hook into the same stitch, grab the yarn, then work in through to first loop, then through next 2 loops, yarn over, skip the next stitch, put crochet hook into the second, grab the yarn, pull through first loop, then pull through next 2 loops. You should have 3 loops on the hook, so pull through all 3 loops, chain 1. And now we have to repeat this pattern all the way around. At the end of our round we need to work slip stitch into the top of chain 3, then chain of 3 as a first double crochet. Into the same stitch as we've done double crochet we will work 1 more double crochet, so we've done 2. Now into the space between chain of 3 and the first cluster we will work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and 1 double crochet into the cluster, so into the big loop. Now we've got the space between 2 clusters, so we will work 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and 1 double crochet into the cluster. And again into the space between 2 clusters, 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and 1 double crochet into the cluster. So now we have to repeat this pattern all the way around. So in each chain space we will work 2 double crochets, in each cluster 1 double crochet. So again at the end we have to make slip stitch into the top of chain 3 and one more row. So chain of 3 as a first double crochet, then 1 double crochet into the same stitch as we've done, slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, 1 double crochet, 1 and 2, and now again into the next stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, then into the next 2 stitches 1 double crochet, 1 and 2, into the next one 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and into the next 2 stitches 1 double crochet, 1 and 2, and we need to repeat this pattern all the way around. I just finished my coaster, so I add 2 leaves and 3 beads as well, but if you don't like to, you don't need to add the beads because they are not flat, so our glass cannot be stable on that part of the coaster. I just add to show you how it can looks like. So thank you for staying with me to the end of this tutorial and have a good day.